the videos, since you're doing them all on your own, also blows me away because of how you guys have what appears to be all these different sets and the costumes, and how you like paint your face sometimes. You got these outfits, you got so much going on. When you first started doing that, what gave you the creativeness, the confidence, the hey, let's just do this? Like how did you guys come up with that?
Honestly, man, like I've been like that since I was a kid. I've always had like a crazy imagination. I've always been super confident in myself. For I'm not exactly sure why, if that's something that my folks instilled in me, or if it's just in my DNA, or I'm not exactly sure. But you know, I was 10 years old the first time I went to my dad and I said, I want to dye my hair. And he's like, what color do you want to dye your hair? And I was like, red. And he's like, well, red like Bozo the Clown red, or red like this lady's hair red? And I was like, red, like fire truck red. And he was like, okay, cool. And he like took me out and got me the hair dye, dyed my hair for me. Like I always just been crazy like that, bro. Like there was like an urban hip hop store like in Canada where I used to live. Like when I was 13, 14 years old, I was getting like triple XL yellow sweatpants and like orange FUBU visors upside down. Like I look like homeboy out of Malibu's Most Wanted. Like I always just been like doing crazy stuff because I enjoy doing it. I was a pro wrestler for like a long time. Like that the whole pro wrestling business is about telling stories and taking people on an emotional ride and having an impact and affecting people. And like that's what I want to do with my music. Whether it's the way I dress or the way the videos look or the things I'm saying in my songs, I want to leave you with something that when you're done watching my stuff, you're still thinking about it for the next hour. And you're like, yo, I got to show my homie this. This is too crazy. Whether they like me or don't like me, that's fine. Hate me, love me, both of those are a win for me. If you're feeling indifferent, I could take them or leave them. I don't really care about it. I failed. I want to have a real impact. So that's my whole thing.
Well, that brings me to a lot of questions. Because why do you think as a society, and are you full-time in the US now, or are you back and forth between Canada or what?
I'm full-time.
Okay. So in the United States in particular, I don't know how it is in Canada. I've been there several times and spent a lot of time in Canada, but never lived there. But my question is, why do you think in the United States, and to whatever degree it applies in Canada, we've evolved to where we're not open to be able to disagree and agree to disagree? Why is everybody has to agree with us, or they're stupid, or we hate them? And you address this in a lot of your songs. Why has that happened?
That is a massive question. Why has that happened? I mean, yeah, you could go into a billion different little minutiae of why this has happened over the years, and it has everything to do with politics and certain social issues, and just it's a conglomerate of a lot of things. But I think why it's so accentuated right now is that people have been conditioned now to pick teams. It's all about going to the extreme, like, and that pendulum swings back and forth and it goes all the way both times. And it's either you're left, you're right, you're red, you're blue, you're black, you're white, you're this, you're that. Like, and it's perpetuated by the media and perpetuated by social media and perpetuated by pop culture. Pick a team, rep your team, ride or die. Like, and there's a serious lack of moderate voices in America these days, where people can just be like, look, man, like, you like these ideas on the quote unquote left, that's cool. Like, you like these ideas on the right side of the spectrum, cool. You're allowed to take and pick and choose what applies to you and what you believe in, and develop your own sort of stance in this whole thing. You don't have to pick a team and be against anybody. But like, not to get, too tinfoil hatty on anybody over here, but like, at the end of the day, if I was running this place, I'd want everybody picking teams and looking at each other too, because that prevents everybody out there from looking at me. So I think that's the way the system set it up. And I think that people that aren't willing to think for themselves perpetuate that narrative. And now we're here.
Yeah. Well, one thing on a related note, but has a different effect, is on Clown World, how you were talking about leaving better kids for the planet instead of leaving the planet better for our kids. So what?
Facts.
So what made you? That was one of my favorite lines in the song. But what made you look at that and kind of reverse that?
Honestly, like, I it wasn't that deep, man. It was just like a clever thing, and like I think that a lot of this, you know, like if there's bad people being born into the world, like what, and they can be bad for a number of reasons. Like maybe they're thieves or killers or racists or sexists or whatever. These people get born into the world, and you don't get born a piece of garbage. Like these things are inherited traits. You learn this stuff over time. So all I was trying to say with that bar is like, yo, it's your responsibility as parents to recognize your own faults and your own shortcomings and not instill that in your children and the next generation that are going to inherit this place. So that's really all I was trying to say with that. Like I've talked a lot about the sort of damaging things that are being said in modern hip hop, as far as, you know, like this is Xanax stuff and the lean stuff, clothes, cars, money, girls, blah, 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 same stuff. Like, and that's all cool. And I think it's fine to listen to that, but I think it's important to understand what you're listening to and understand why these guys are saying that. Like when I was a kid and I was listening to Marilyn Manson and I was listening to M and I was listening to stuff like that, my dad would pull me aside and be like, hey, I know that the people that you're listening to are extremely talented and they're making some really amazing music, but you need to understand that not everything that they're saying is cool. Like it's not actually cool to, you know, take these drugs or drink and drive or treat a woman this way or act that way or do this. Like, and he always pulled me aside and gave me context on what I was listening to, because that's his job as a man, as a father, as a parent. So that's what that bar is about. It's like, yo, like, it's cool to leave a better planet for our kids, but how about the kids that we're leaving the better planet for? Let's make sure that they're prepared to be their best selves while they're here, you know?
Yeah, because I think as the common phrase goes, the children are the future, and we need to get them to be. They are the stewards of our future, of humanity, and if we don't take care of them, and we, you know, lead them astray, then they're going to be astray. That's basically something that I don't understand why that's so hard for people to grasp.
Yeah, absolutely.
So also, I had seen too your Fox News interview, which I thought was interesting on many levels. But one of the things you said on there that I thought was so interesting was how people are allergic to opinions, and that resonated with me too, because I think that it's so unusual. Groupthink, I think, has become so dominant, and anytime you like, well, what do you think about this? And you're not saying they're wrong or they're stupid or whatever. It's just like, oh, well, I thought about this instead. Like, for you, what's going on with that? Why is that so like shocking to people?
Dude, like, I think a lot of people like the word that's thrown around most about me and my music is like, quote unquote, controversial. And like, I don't really think that there's much controversial about what I'm saying. I think that it's just uncommon that somebody would decide to say those things, because unpopular opinions rarely get heard these days. It's just about what's popular, what's safe, what's acceptable, what's whatever, what goes along with what the masses are thinking and saying and what's on the news and blah, 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 blah. So a lot of these unpopular opinions a lot of people have them that just keep them buried deep down inside themselves because they don't want to get crucified on the internet. They don't want people pointing at them and saying, this guy's this guy's that, calling him names, whatever. So we just reached this weird place where it's like, on the surface level, everybody's like acceptance, equality. Everybody be yourselves and love other people for being themselves. But what's really happening is we'll accept you and we'll respect you and we'll love you for who you are only if you agree with what's popular and what aligns with their own ideologies and stuff. So, I mean, that's what I meant by, people are allergic to opinions. They're just, the internet is so volatile now and so knee-jerk reactions. When somebody has an unpopular opinion or an uncommon opinion or something that challenges the status quo, instead of listening to that person, trying to understand for 2 seconds, okay, where is that coming from? And what is that person trying to say to me? Instead of trying to digest this stuff or decode it and have a real discussion or a conversation about it, it's just immediately like, fuck you, shut up, we don't agree with that, you're a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. Excuse my language, but that's just the nature of the internet these days.
So that being said, your dad played a very different role for you as a conscious per se, or at least a point of view, as somebody. So when you think back on that, what impact has that had on your life, not only with how you make your music, but just as a person, how you think and how you approach things?
I mean, I guess most obviously, like, just go take a look at any of the numbers anywhere on any of my stuff. Like, I think it's cool to play it safe, and I think it's cool to do all that. If that's what you want to do, you're free to do it. But I've chose to, put my hand up and be like, hey, not me. We're doing something different over here. And I mean, it's proven I think people are ready for that. I think there's a lot of people that obviously don't like it, which is totally cool. You're free to not, but there's a lot of people who embrace it. And it's just, not everything that I say is right. Like, it's just surface level feelings that I think everybody have had that maybe they've buried away or explained away to themselves and never said anything about it publicly. But it's important to get that stuff out into the world and cause those discussions and have people to think about stuff. So, I mean, sure, like there's not many people that are going to holler at me and be like, let's do an interview. Like, I want to hear what you have to think, like, or only certain people will do that. So I'm sure it's closed a lot of doors for me. But it's also served me really well. I've been this way since I was a kid. I'm going to be this way till I'm an old fucking man. Like, I'm not changing. Like, I'm not going to water myself down to make strangers on the internet feel more comfortable. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So,
well, I think too, that goes in line with your No Lives Matter song, because on one of the lines that I also really liked is how you were like talking about, you need a fast car and you need these things because now that America has evolved into such a consumer-based society,
mm-hmm.
I think that really does matter to people that, oh, I need this. It's that keeping up with the Joneses, the competition. So for you, since you clearly are aware that that is happening, what do you want people when they hear you say stuff like that to think? What's your goal with kind of exposing that or acknowledging it at the least?
I mean, like, this is a $3 t-shirt, bro. Like, it's got holes all over it. I got it from a Goodwill. And I think that this, like, sort of social conditioning that happens is like, they prey on people's insecurities. That's really what it's about, right? Own this car, own this house, own these clothes. Own these shoes. That'll make you cool. Look, 2 Chainz wearing it. He's cool. If you get those shoes, you'll probably be cool too. And like the whole thing is like, you know who the coolest motherfuckers on the planet are? The people who are comfortable being themselves, that don't need all that other external bullshit to pretend to be anybody, to try and live up to anybody's expectations or standards. The coolest people on the planet are literally like what popular culture thinks is the least cool. If you can, like, it's easy to own a room, walking into a room in a $20,000 jacket, bro. That's not hard. Like, if you can go into a room and light it up with your smile and your personality, like, that's cool. You work at Walmart and those are the shoes you can afford, your Skechers and your white tees or whatever that you get a discount buying at the place you work at. Do that, bro. Like, just, that's the thing, is just be who you are. You don't have to submit to this infinite consumer based. It's a trick, bro. Like, they're making you feel bad about yourself so you'll buy stuff. It's ridiculous. Feel good about yourself. You are you. Embrace that. People gravitate towards what's real. So be that and you'll be fine. Those are the coolest people on the planet.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
It would be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Your MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.